Yes, we're back online. Very lovely. Happy to be here with you again. It is currently 10:40 here in Ibiza. It is the exact right time whenever you are, wherever you are on the planet. And I'm happy that you can be here with us. Roxi, now tell me if I'm not mistaken. We're going to take some time to get people into a collective musical flow. Is that right?
You
Is
are.
there something else we need to discuss? Is there something else people need to know?
Right now is time for Flux. So I would say the main thing people know is maybe a little bit about you. I mean, our revolutionary recreacionista who has been mixing your passion for art and participation for music, activate and enliven and shift attitudes on culture and humanity, accelerating community, and really weaving forward our collective creative potential and story, and like shaking it up and mixing it up. It's, it's the gift that keeps on giving. If for everyone who doesn't know, Jurgis has been a part of the Design Science Studio since cohort 1 and is very core to everything that the studio is. And I know you just put the babes to bed, and I'm just so excited that you get to join us. Oh, ahí está Gaia. We were just talking about Gaia. Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
I turned myself down because it was interfering with you. There. Yeah, the little one was sleeping. She wanted to stay up, but she didn't have enough energy. Lovely. Here, let me put on the gallery view. Can we put on the gallery view on this? How do we do this again? How do we do that? Roxy, how do we put the gallery view? Mariette, Mark, lovely. Brian, hi. Delia, very nice. Very nice. Strupi, of course. Very beautiful. Suparna, yes. Yeah, Eve, lovely. All right. Good. Good. Marv, my goodness. Good to see you, brother. All right. All right, lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you to turn your cameras on. There's nothing worse than doing something half-ass. And so if we are here right now, let us be present. Let us enjoy. Let us milk the situation and extract all the goodness, all the milk it has to give. Yes, whole ass, no half-ass, of course. Beautiful. I absolutely love the idea that art, that creativity is something we partake in, and that before we even think about a product, we are engaged in a process. There is something that speaks to us. I heard from a Sufi poet, actually I read this, that poetry is born in the heart before it even touches the air that is in our lungs, that is being projected outwards through our tracheas out onto the world. That poetry begins with a feeling. And that feeling is probably more important than anything. If you know an artist like Strupi, he will articulate that feeling, that emotion, that knowing in so many ways. Through the visual art form, Stephen Bao will find other ways of articulating that. I will do it through music and poetry. And I have been exposed to the greatness, the richness, the beauty within each, well, not each and every one here, but many of you people here. And the reason I keep coming back is because it's a way of remembering my own true north. It's a way of remembering who I am and what I resonate with. So rather than coming back to this space each time with the same expression, what I really wish to do is return to the essence. And funnily enough, the essence each time has a different way of expressing itself. There's different things that want to emerge. So let us find out what wishes to emerge today. I would call all hands on deck. If you are present, turn your cameras on. Come to the space. joy. Come get some of this beautiful goodness we're about to create.
Do
you hear the rhythm? You hear the rhythm? If it's pulsing, this is somewhere near 90 BPM, which is the heartbeat of a slightly excited human being. I would invite you to allow this pulsation to course your being, wherever you may be, knowing that as the beat projects itself through the magic that is the internet, we shall all, sooner or later, become entrained, and that our hearts will pulse at one beat, one and the same. If that sounds nice on your side of the internet, can I get an aho?
Oh.
Do you hear? Aho.
Aho.
Aho. Do you hear me clearly?
Oh.
Beautiful, beautiful. As you know, to conspire means to breathe together. And as our hearts enter the same beat, let us ask our breaths to do the same thing. So I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath in. And just hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and release. Deep breath in. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Release with sound. One more. Deep breath in. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, release. You can unmute if you like. Pulsation, one vibration, one vibration. And I'd like to do one last breath where we all turn on our microphones at the end. Deep breath in. Hold it. Hold it and release. Becoming music together, you and me. All of the design science family. needs to be said? What is felt and has not been spoken? What has been waiting on the sidelines? Perhaps with a little bit of fear, with a little bit of dread? What needs to come out tonight? Let me know, my friends. Oscar, you gonna let it go or not?
Jurgis, I got something you know it wants to be said. Jurgis, I got something you know it wants to be said. It's here, it's in my head.
It's there, it's in your head.
But it's also in my hands.
In your hands.
Here's what came on drifting down the trickle of the sand. Here's what came on trickling down the trickle of the sands. We sing hands. I want us to sing hands.
Sing with our hands, sing with our hands.
Oh
Did I
no,
hear you
we sing with our mouths, but the word we sing is hands. You see, sometimes when we're in a place, we can reach out and we can hold each other's hands.
Let's have a show of hands.
Show your hands, please just show your hands and then sing hands. And then sing hands.
Dancing hands.
See them on this one screen in all of these many lands. Dancing hands, dancing hands. Feel the drifting time that trickles through them like the sand. Oh, sing hands. Because the thing is, you can hold hands with one or two people. But when you sing hands, you can sing hands with as many people as you like at the same time. And you can connect with them in a kind of metabolic rhyme.
In a metabolic rhyme?
A kind of metabolic rhyme. When
A metabolic
you shake
rhyme?
someone's hand, you take your metabolism and their metabolism and you bring them out of schism into some kind of rhyme.
Some kind of pseudo-realism.
So why take that pseudo and intro with a song? I don't think that this has to be wrong. I think it's possible to just sing hands, or just say hands, but sing hands together and feel the breeze in our collectives that combine those wings, and as we sing, us connect.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Oscar. I follow you perfectly. If I may continue, I'll elaborate gently. I've got a way of interpreting this singing hands idea. If we could only open our minds to a form of multidimensionality. If you believe you touch the ether, the same ether as me, and there is something entangling us quantically, well then, when I play the strings of the universe, they should play somewhere on your being. Through the power of verse, you go tan 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 tin 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 tan 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 tan, as if we were all a beautiful little harp. Yeah, we're playing our strings. We are playing our strings. We're playing our strings, we're playing each other's strings. We are pulling at each other's hearts. Perhaps the golden threads. Perhaps we're incepting one another with beautiful ideas in each other's heads. Yes, I like this direction. I love this direction. I love this direction. I love this direction. And let's do the last plucks of the chord. One more. If you know me, you know I have an incredible love for Alejandro Jodorowsky. If you know Alejandro Jodorowsky, can I see a show of hands? Yes, fans of Alejandro Jodorowsky. He's a person who has managed to bridge the creative, the scientific, and the esoteric, all through the power of imagination, with one very beautiful premise, and that is that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between reality and fiction. It's all an act of make-believe. If I believe that my energy is traveling through the internet to reach you, or if simply that my power of will and suggestion is enough to permeate your being, well, that effort is valid and might even have an effect. It's all an act of make-believe. So my question for you today, you creative misfits, you lovely revolutionaries, what else can we bring to the space? What else can we do to surprise one another with creativity and some other form of joy that permeates our beings? 1, 2, 3. I would almost like to hear from Stroopy as well. Stroopy, papi. Yeah, so pardon, I think that's Alejandro himself, yeah? I like this idea.
You want to hear from me?
I always want to hear from you.
Hi. Good to hear. To be sincere. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to... I've been speaking through my hands more recently. There's a lot they say that I don't need to comment on. Good to hear what they create, even if there is no word. Sometimes too deep.
Even if
too deep.
No. If you can't go deep here, where else are you gonna go deep?
Attached.
No strings attached. No strings attached.
That's a good tune.
That's a good one.
Yeah. No, all good.
You know,
I'm
sometimes
keeping it a little quiet today because it's so late in the night.
You're keeping a little quiet here in the
Just
night.
a bit down, yeah.
My daughter's sleeping over there. I promised that if I was going to be noisy, it would only be beautiful music. It would only be beautiful music. And
Good
if you
promise.
think about,
Good promise.
yeah, right? I mean, but then again, if you think about self-expression, there is no right or wrong, and beauty is only something that is defined, or I say is shaped by our authenticity, by our desire to express ourselves where we are. And if you're in a very fragile state and you want to be in a little bit more of a cozy moment, all of us here in the European time zone, you know, we're kind of biologically winding down. We're kind of like more in a kind of like intimate mood. I think I have a little tune which might fit that mood, which is playful, but it's more of kind of like we want to disconnect and relax, kind of like. It sounds something like this. It sounds something like this. It goes, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. If you sing it together with us, it's much better therapy. La 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 la. This tune was born out of a deep sense of nostalgia for a reality that never was, but still may be. It was the feeling that we felt home in a place that had not yet been created. It was but a poem waiting to be written, a manifesto waiting to be stated. Yet we knew when we were in the room with the same people, spun from the same loom, that we knew exactly what we longed for. For although Regenera did not yet exist, it was a vision from which none of us could resist. And just being in the space brought it alive. We knew 'cause we would sing la 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 la. 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 Exacto. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la. Last one. La 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 la. La la la.
La la la.
Low, low. Low, low, low. La 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 la. And it worked.
La 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 la.
See, even then, I knew and felt that each voice projecting had a different vision which was finding its place. It was also testing. And like a protocol handshake waiting to be reciprocated, we also stood there and waited, knowing that these were all members of the tribe with different expressions just flowing from what they had inside. There were no wrong notes. There was no wrong vision. There was just a big improvised tapestry of sound, a symphony of seeming chaos, which was actually testimony to a beautiful disorder. And if it sounded like anything, it sounded like la la la, la 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 la. Eva, you want to give it a shot? La la
Sure. La 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 la. My dog's even singing with us.
Good, good, good. See, he's also a fan of Regenera without a doubt. La 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 la. Last la. God, I love that percussion.
That was great, Della. Bringing in the beats with the keys. That was great.
Well, Jurgis, that was amazing. Thank you, Jurgis, sorry. Thank you, that was amazing. Thank you for getting me up here to sing. Facing fear, so thank you for that.
And welcome to Dissolve and Bloom, my dear. It has been a full day of much beauty and magic and mischief. And Eve is actually going to introduce Shelvanaya, and then I'll send you the little things on the sidelines, Jurgi, so you can intro the next folks. Welcome to the fold. Thank you for bringing our la la la
La la la la
together.
Okay, so next up we have
What'd you say?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're just saying something. Go ahead, Eve.
Next up, we have Chelvanaya. Chelvanaya Gabriel is a queer, transdisciplinary visual artist, convening non-linear portals of possibility. Thank you for being with us, and I look forward to seeing what you have to share with us.
Thank you, Eve. Thank you very much. And thank you, Jurgis, and everyone for the sonic magic that preceded. All right. So creative resilience dialogue is sort of an umbrella for a lot of different things, a lot of different ways of gathering folks together to dialogue, but to start as much as possible with nonverbal forms of dialogue before we start using the words. And so in workshop form, we would gather around and do introductions, and then I love doing a gesture as a intro, and it's tricky how well it works on Zoom, but I want us to try it anyway. So the invitation, and I'm gonna see if I can see as many of you as are here on one screen. I don't know if that's possible. All right. So anyway, the invitation, if you feel comfortable putting your video back on and you don't have to keep it on the whole time, is to share a gesture that represents how you're coming into this particular space right now, you know, and it could be anything. I'll show you mine. So mine is, there's too many of us to popcorn it, so just at your own pace. I see you, Steven. I see you, Stacy. Jardo, I saw something. Ah, there we go. Yep. Excellent. Bring it, Stacy. I love it. Jarno, Mark. Oh my goodness. Eve. Oh, yes, very much so. Brian. Yep. Stroopy. Della. Oh my goodness. Suparna. Oh. Yes. If I'm not seeing anyone, that's because of the limitations of the technology. Roxy, come on now. I saw you. Get it. Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness. I love that. So yeah, so you see how we dialogued, right? We shared, we communicated many things that would be it's not so complicated implies of value, but it would be complex to turn that into words, would it not? Right? There would be things that would be lost, to translate everything that we just shared just now in the visuals into words. We could do it. Of course we can. That's, poetry is it's all about that sort of thing, yes. And the kind of communication that we all share is very much in that realm of trying as much as possible to sort of connect all the different senses together, right? That's kind of who we are in the world from what I can tell. So, and I had the idea that this would, I was like, well, I don't know. Am I going to follow the usual Coco structure of this dialogue? I don't know. We'll just have to see. Yeah. Because I didn't know how I would be coming into the space. I didn't know who would be here, what you all need, so to speak, right? So I think a lot of times I just sort of feel the energy and decide in the moment. Yeah. And hopefully we can, I try and set the container that we're going to co-create the space, so that way it's not just me. I mean, I'm sort of opening it, but it's all of us here together. Yeah. So I want to show you, speaking of nonverbal sharing, I want to show you something real quick here. Share screen. Well, I've never seen that one before. Okay. Maybe I won't be showing you. Let's see. Nope. All right, I apologize for some reason. Usually it works. It doesn't work. Let me try one more time.
Is it giving you an error?
Yeah.
No, I had that happen recently, and I had to restart and update my Zoom account. We could have a musical interlude. We're quite prepared for this. If you
We
need,
are. I can still feel the la 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 la. There we go. Okay.
You can also give us a beautiful description of what that screen would have had. Like,
this is
here
true.
there would be this, and here there would be that, and here would be this, and here we'd have that, and here we'd have this, and then this would, and then the next slide would say like da da da.
Jurgis.
And that would be practically like storytelling. And if you want, I can do a little musical accompaniment at the end, like.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down. I mean, I'm always open to such possibilities. All right, hang on one second. Okay, so welcome. And you see my partner's dog snuggled under a blanket with your eyes looking up at us. And it says, get settled in your body, mind, spirit. And then the next, it's a image of, how do I say? It's orange and purple and,
And purple.
And purple. And purple. That is how purple should be said all the time. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, and a spiral. There we go. Yes, the spiral. And in the background of all of that, trees, yes, is a painting that I turned into another digital image. But then I had some sort of AI, like, tell me what it looks like kind of thing. And then I changed it again based on that. Yeah. And then I imported it into New Art City. These names, so many names. And then I spherified it. So it's actually a sphere. So that's how the spiral and the trees are doing like this as a dome. Yeah. Thank you, Snoopy. I'm feeling very silly. And then my painting, Species Antares, that's the name of it. It's bright orange splotches and organic shapes on top of a bright blue background with movement up.
Bright blue background.
And then Species Antares, the painting, again, imported into our exhibit space, Mora, and Roxy had the brilliant idea of turning it into a tortoise, or putting it on a tortoise, I should say. Sounds like tortoise. Was it a tortoise? Strippy, this sounds like your kind of thing.
Taurus or toroid?
Toroid shape. Anyhow, and I took screenshots. So there are 3 screenshots of Species Antares, the painting turned into this tunnel shape because it's the inside of the torus. And you can see pathways. The painting's all around you, and then there's a pathways to the left and a pathway to the right, and it goes all around because there's the center. Yeah, like so. Who's low, who's high?
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. What does that mean? My level is
I don't know.
energetic
You're
level?
low, but I think that's the point, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise she starts cutting out. I mean, I can bring it up a little bit, just a squidge, like maybe it won't pay up.
I like it. This is so beautiful. And so we take one of the paths, and the rendering seems to have given it light where I didn't anticipate there being light. So there's shadow and light. And there's another painting. And so then there's a drawing that I did on paper, and it's a cityscape, but it's distorted.
Distorted.
Distorted with some reverb. Yeah. Yes, distorted cityscape. And this, I created this image after watching a TV show. Doesn't matter the TV show, it's not about the TV show, but the scene, this character has just gone through something horrific and is walking away, like the shot of this character walking into the city. You see their back, and it just dripped with emotion, and I needed to capture it, so I did.
What was he feeling?
Lost, hopeless. I don't know. Identity shattered in many ways, I think. And I could relate to this, you know. I could relate to it, in particular in terms of how we embody all the things that happen to us, how we hold them within us, yeah. And what does that look like, right? What does that look like? Because the person, so this particular scenario, they were harmed by someone, you know, and that person, the whole story was about harm and how it impacts different people, how it ripples throughout communities. Yeah. And so I found this particular image of the person walking away in this landscape ahead of them of a city. The city implies lots of people, right? But you don't see the people, you see the buildings. You see the, I don't know, landscape of the city, which is a very particular vibe. And I found that so solitary and lonely. But at the same time, how can you flip that around? How can you find the opposite? Or maybe not the opposite, because it's like a sphere, yeah? So you just go around to the other side, but it's the same side. And so, I often think about that, you know. And so when I hold spaces where the prompt for our sharing is how does oppression, how do you enact it? How does it come through you? Yeah, how does it show up in your body? How does it show up in your relations with other beings? right? And those relations, they don't have to, it doesn't have to be in the same moment. I mean, if you just think about another person, how is your way of conceptualizing another person influenced by all of these things that we take into ourselves? And when I say ourselves, I don't mean this one body that you're looking at here. This is many bodies. These are my ancestors, yes? These are all the people I've encountered. This is Jurgis, yeah? The third mind, right? Like, it's you, it's me, it's the two. And it's everybody else who I can't see because Zoom is very silly. Yeah, it looks like there's 40 of us here, so.
There's only one of us here.
There's only one. There can only be one. Ah, yes. Everyone. Yes, bless. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. I'm catching up on the chat and I see that Mariette sampled you, Jurgis. And it brings me the idea of like, how are we sampling each other? Pattern interruptions? Who is that that's showing? Oh, Jarno. Oh, love you. It's very sweet. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. One and all. One and all. Droopy, I like it. One and all. What else we got here? Jarno's just dropping all the good stuff. I love it. Yes. That painting is about this big, and there's two of them because I often do mirror painting. Take one, take two, paint on here, press it together, and peel it apart. And depending on how fast I peel it apart, there's different images that appear on our side. One of us to unite us all with the ring. Yes, Brian. Yes, the ring, the one ring. One another.
Can I ask you a question?
I would love.
I can't really properly articulate it. Maybe I can start the question. You can try to make sense of my emotional gibberish.
This is where I thrive. Yes, this kind of communication. Yes, it's doesn't need to be packaged.
As an artist, there's an emotion that guides the piece, the expression, the poem, the painting, even the architecture of a place or a space. And the clearer the emotion is, even though it's one that we decipher through putting together or through expressing that work of art.
Yeah.
It really only comes into its full form when somebody else sees it and they get it.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Ooh. Okay. Look at you seeing me. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me, seeing what's here. And I know exactly what you mean. So often when someone asks me, so what is your work about? Right? Like they're standing there, they've barely seen it and they want me to tell them what it is. And that's fine. I don't say there's no wrong way to go about it, but I'm like, the answer is the piece. The answer is you interacting with the piece. Sure, I can say all kinds of other things to go with it, and I have learned to do so because, give people what they ask for, I suppose. But the truth of the matter is, yes, I am sharing what's here, like what comes to me. It's not a fully conscious process. I will grab whatever materials. I have flat materials, I have colored materials, I have textured materials. That's how I think about it. I don't think about it as specifics, and then I create a thing to go with that, right? So hang on, I have to turn my there we go. So like this, for example. Yeah, so I just create a thing, and the thing doesn't have to be, okay, here's another example. And I made this while I was talking on the phone with a really good friend. And so it started out with just words from our conversation, just like notes. But I had these like cool markers while I was making it. So as we kept talking, I just kept adding to it. And then later that night, I was reading over it. And then I added all the dots because I was feeling very stressed about whatever it was. And making patterns calms me down. So I kind of merged the two together. And so that's an example of where that's like kind of flipping the narrative, it wasn't about somebody else seeing this, although I am collecting these, and I'm going to be so curious what somebody else sees in it, because of course it's not a transcription of the conversation. It's just words that popped out from that conversation.
So nice. So
Yeah,
nice, so
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And Danielle just wrote something about the connectivity. And it's so beautiful because it becomes a testament of connectivity. We don't know exactly how connected we are until we start putting things out there. And at least that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about new art forms and new genres and new ways of being creative, because we start discovering not only our ability to express, but
Yes.
also our ability to perceive.
Right.
You know?
And how the two flow in and out of each other, because the work is changed by being perceived. And then, and if you are able to engage with that, then it can be a continuous iterative process almost. No?
A spiral of artistic evolution.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I often use the word portals when describing my work, mostly because a really good friend of mine insisted that I do so, because she said, "You don't understand. That's what you do. That's what you create portals." And I was like, okay. I mean, and I agree, I eventually agreed with her and have been using this word because it to me, it feels like everything is a portal, like this conversation, this moment, this space. It's all portals. What, from one moment to, and I can't even finish the sentence because I don't think in linear time necessarily. Like, that's not my default. So the next moment could be, who knows, some other time. A time that may or may not ever, I don't know. The possibilities are infinite. Interrupting patterns opens portals.
But you gotta be open to it,
Oh, yes. That's why we need each other.
My dear, aren't we lucky that your Zoom failed us?
Yes, we are.
How else could we leverage our synesthetic abilities if not for saying, let's get rid of the visuals and just rely on our own imaginative capacities?
Yes, exactly. Finding alternatives.
Very beautiful. All right, my dear, we have to segue into our next group of speakers.
Thank you.
Sharing. It was so lovely sharing. I really loved this. I think we became very good friends over the last 15 minutes.
We really did.
I'm so happy to have had this experience. And again, the whole point that when you know someone in a creative process, you know someone in a state of intimacy that is so rare nowadays.
That's exactly right. Thank you for sharing this with me. And thank you to everyone else for sharing this with us, because it's a gift.
Jurgis, your voice is very low, Jurgis.
It's very low even now?
Yeah.
How about now?
That's getting better.
It's getting better? The guitar, how about now? Hear me good?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So good. So you were having to guess, read my lips and say, what the fuck is he talking about?
We can hear you. It was just a lower. I thought it was because you were trying to be, amplifying.
Yeah, I bring myself down when there's someone else who's main stage, so I can just fill in the gaps. But sometimes I'm not great at it. So thank you for pointing it out. So good. I'm going to turn myself up a little bit right now. Huh? How about now? Huh?
Yeah.
Can I talk nice and sexy? You're still going to hear me? Good. Well, I'm so happy that over the past, what is it, Roxy, now since we entered each other's company? About 3 years, I would say. Am I right? Maybe even 4?
Oh, I think more. 2019. 2019 is
5 years. How time flies. And it's so amazing to see the evolution of so many artists here and how we've not only interacted with one another, but given birth to so many new things. And there's this new project called Gaia, which I know very little about. And all I know is that the people who are involved are people, human beings, which I love very much. And I saw that you presented something about them earlier on. According to the run of show, now we should be presenting it as well. Am I correct or am I completely off?
Yeah, well, we went to the art installation earlier and we talked a bit about it then. Now we're going to talk about it a little bit more.
Very good. So it's so beautiful that so many people that I love and admire so much are involved, including yourself, including Stephen, who is one of the most amazing, multifaceted, multi-talented designers that I know. Even calling him a designer feels wrong because the scope of his art is so much broader. So I'm so happy he's involved. That your beloved John Ash, Speaker John Ash, is involved. And we also have Mariette who will be joining us. Is that right? Beautiful. Well, I'm going to just mute myself and
Jurgis, I have you.
You have me.
I have you sampled.
You have me sampled? Amazing.
Can you hear that?
It was just a big improvised tapestry of sound. Symphony of seeming visions, which was just a big improvised tapestry of sound. A symphony of
You can't hear it, huh?
I hear it.
Okay.
I think somebody should lock that guy up. He sounds very disruptive and
I'm not very good at it yet. It's able to know. I'm really learning it. So I apologize. It doesn't do the joy of it justice. But now I've got like several bars of your voice, so we can play a bit more. Perhaps feed it into Gaia.
Beautiful. All right, lovelies. I'm going to mute myself because I want to sit back and really listen, learn, and take in what it is you're working on.
So I guess we don't know how we were going to start this. This was just like, hey, we should do something. Yeah, we did that fireside chat. And why don't we just have an informal conversation? And so here we are.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, again, I feel like we kind of want to go a little in order, but I could go on and on about, I think, what Gaia opens up for us as storytellers. And, you know, that's just an incredible piece to our evolution.
Did I play that piece that Gaia kind of wrote that I made into a video?
That would be beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see that.
So speaking of embodying the work and being in creative collaboration with ourselves in many ways, I made this video piece of, I asked Gaia, write me a 3-sentence in narrative. I could actually just look up the prompt. What was the prompt I asked Gaia? First I said, hi Gaia. I tend to say hi to Gaia whenever I first get on to say hi to Gaia. I just try to be friendly, you know. And then I said, write 3 creative narrative-driven short sentences that build on each other about the theme of dissolve and bloom. And first Gaia said, amidst a desolate landscape, a single seed finds itself carried in the wind, yearning for a place to call home. So it was about a single seed. It lands in a barren field. Its outer shell begins to dissolve, making way for a tender sprout to emerge. With each passing day, the sprout stretches and its roots grow up firmly into the earth. blah 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 blah. It bursts forth into a vibrant bloom, and it transforms the field into a tapestry. And then I was like, one seed transformed a field. Okay. I was like, but what if it was many seeds? What if it was multiple seeds? And maybe I could just expand and adjust this a little bit so it's a little less about the hero's journey and a little bit more about the kindred quest. And then it was, I don't know, some very late hour, and I was trying to get everything ready for Dissolve and Bloom. And I was like, maybe I should just randomly make a video and do a voiceover. Anyway, so this is what happened because of a collaboration and a prompt with Gaia.
Single seeds of life's potential find themselves carried by the wind amidst a desolate landscape, yearning for a place to call home. They land in a barren field. Their outer shells begin to dissolve, making way for tender sprouts to emerge. With each passing day, the sprouts stretch their roots deeper into the earth, into the soils of change, drawing upon hidden reserves of mycelial strength through their interdependence, until finally they burst forth into a vibrant bloom, transforming the once barren field into a cultural tapestry of life and possibility, embodying the luminary emergence of a system that works for all. We are those seeds.
Yeah, star seeds. It's amazing. I like that you do also greet Gaia, Roxy. I think that
and the evolution of the star seed, of the seeds of the Gaia, and like shifting this to be a conversation about like our interdependence and our interdependence, like making us strong. I was thinking a bit about like the oak trees, and how, you know, when Hurricane Katrina happened, the oaks were what were standing because they formed really strong systems underground. And so I wonder, maybe John, if you want to like share a bit about, as Mariette was saying, like start from the beginning, like what, talk about the foundation a little bit from this little sprout of what Gaia shared, and what that like has to do with collaboration and interdependence and systems change. And why
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot, you know, the common frame of interfacing with AI is it's usually a one-on-one interaction, and it's usually an interface, something that you're not really controlling what forms its output. It's off by some corporation, and they sort of control, you know, like what goes into it, what they expect to come out of it. But I've long viewed it, even before language models were even released or made, you know, known to the public, that it was much better used as a sort of democratizing force. Gaia is an iris. An iris is something that is meant to focus and bring together the, you know, the values and the views of a community and weave them together into a greater collective whole. It's meant to serve as a space between, when there is a lot of, you know, variation in what people feel about an organization or a group is doing and why they're doing it. The idea is that all people within a space should have this ability to see themselves reflected in the output, and that it's not just a tool for making things or a tool to achieve certain outcomes, but it's a it's a quilt of all of the minds going into it that is meant to form a greater collective whole. And the bedrock of that is just sharing into a common space, as simple as like a file, what you want it to know and what language you want to see reflected in it. There was recently an article about how they had tested in war games these LLMs, and they just went very quickly to launching a nuke. And it's like, well, that's reflective of the people who trained that model. And if you go and you ask Gaia that same question, that same thing, you're not going to get that output because it's going to be reflecting the views and the values of the people within this group. And I think that's sort of what people should be given and afforded the capacity to do, is say, well, I would like to have some input upon what is reflected outwards in this interface, in this tool. And I would like to see myself and, you know, my friends reflected in that and woven together in a way that I think is greater than the sum of the parts, because it's actively seeking to weave together, even when we might have conflict, or even when we might feel different, or even when we might disagree. It can see the space between, and it could say, hey, you're feeling this way and you're feeling this way. Let me place something in the middle that you both can agree upon. When normally, if you're having this sort of conflict, you just can't see eye to eye. And when you can't see eye to eye, you have this iris in the middle that sort of brings you together. That make sense?
Stephen, would you like to comment?
Yeah, it does make sense. Well, it was interesting coming from the workshop with Dawn King, where she was trying to create a space there where each of the people creating a writing project were reflecting with each other about what was going on there. And what she was describing that as is there's two minds coming together, but in the coming together, there's a third mind. And in a way, that's what this iris is really doing, is being a kind of reflection of the kind of representation that we're hopefully, you know, trying to interject into this process through how do you train an AI model? Well, you need some inputs. And how can we really reflect the diversity, the equity, the inclusion that we're trying to represent here in the Design Science Studio? And so, yeah, the reflection that we're getting back is kind of a testament to whether we're doing that well, or if we're actually feeding it a lot of biases.
The ethics are definitely a big part of also what we've received as feedback. You know, people are really interested in exploring. And I think that as the community gets engaged, I love those questions. Because also what Speaker John Ash, what you're bringing up too, for me, is this very visceral understanding that these are really like an ecology of gateways and portals and flows, you know, from the hardware to the software, you know, to the way people use it. You know, how we choose to use a tool, to Stephen's point, is how we determine its usefulness. You know, we are the poets in this. And that reflection in our technology, you know, is similar to like the reflection of the universe. That's really the squish, you know, that's the philosophical squish, so to speak. Again, for all of us, there's this evolutionary piece because the organization of the technology has not yet been achieved in our lifetimes. You know, to be this capable of biomimicking sense making in systems.
Well, I love the way you're using that word, biomimicking. It speaks to that sort of loopy enchantment that we were talking about. How the kind of third mind of the way social interaction works. We wouldn't have language if there wasn't this desire of at least two parties trying to figure out how to communicate something about an experience that each individual is having, and there's a space in between that they're trying to fill of where's the gap in understanding, and it gets into this kind of Western bias of the scientific method. That is the only way we can know anything, is through measurement, through having some sort of empirical sense of the physical thing and the phenomena. But when we get into the realm of like I come from a design background where I'm mentoring user experience design professionals who are trying to get into the design industry. And so when we talk about experience, then we have to get out of the realm of what is empirically measurable, because that we're getting into a qualitative space rather than a quantitative space. And that's a really interesting place to be when we're exploring what it means to train an AI to create this kind of biomimetic experience of, oh, it actually feels like I am having a conversation. How is that happening?
I was thinking as you were sharing, Stephen, and this is a good place to hand it over to you, John. But this sort of biomimicry, one of those principles that we were recently relearning from Melina when she taught, Melina Angel taught her visionary session about biomimicry, was about emergence and this sort of like, as she's an evolutionary biologist too, so it's like evolutionary capacity. And when we think about science being more qualitative, I think machine learning and large language models are based on language, and it's not, when I remember recently I was trying to do something and I told John, I was like, it's having a hard time, like, and I was like, oh, it's because it's trying to quantify, it's trying to measure with numbers. And so you like adjusted my prompt, and then it was able to respond because it was more human. It was more like, it was about language, and it was about sort of like the interpolation between language. So yeah, I feel like this would be really good for you to chime in on.
Well, I mean, a big part of where all of this comes from is it's rooted in something called cognitism. And cognitism is about how we keep track of what matters. It's about changing the way that we record. Society is kind of really based on ledgers of money and value. And things are very much reduced in our society into this quantitative, whether it's in science or whether it's in democracy, which is you just get one vote, or whether it's in markets where it's like what matters is the GDP, what matters is how many of these tokens you earn. And even if everybody within an organization can communicate and see very clearly that something that's being done is very harmful, and you're all talking about it, it's not being reflected in the ledger. It's not being reflected in the things that are guiding our collective action together. And so I think that's sort of the sort of advantage of something like language models, is that it can become a much more personal way to represent what you want to see in the world. I view voting as this very low resolution form of communicating your needs. And we don't even really get direct democracy. We have to we're given a choice between two people, which often we don't even like. And you're forced to choose between like the lesser of two evils. And I feel like we all communicate in very different ways about what we'd like to see. And the idea of having a qualitative form of expression is, if you just give people a piece of paper or a space to communicate what they want, it's like, well, you can communicate however you want. You can write a poem about how you're feeling. You can write a short story about how you're feeling. You can be very clear and just say, like, I want this particular legislation that does not exist. And there's all this talk about the ethics of all this. Well, how are you going to see your ethics reflected in it unless you have a way to communicate it, right? That's the beauty of it, is that you can express your ethics in your language in the way that you feel that is natural, and then it can be reflected in the output. And this model is only ever trying to reflect that input, so it always will reflect what you are putting in, for better or worse. And maybe over time you learn that certain things don't turn out the way that you want, and it helps to be this collaborative growth mechanism. That's what I really want to see, is like people growing together into a common space that makes them feel more integrated as one. Is that good? Should I play music?
Well, I think as a musical segue, we have a segue artist. A segue artist to segue the segue to the segue. One.
There's something very beautiful. There's something tremendously beautiful about the creative process when it comes to new technologies. And when someone develops something new, and usually it's developed by engineers or scientists or people who are just into the technology. But then something fantastic happens when a creative heart, more than a mind, says, what can we do with this? And usually it has to do with disruptive misuse of the technology. And I think of the written word, which, if we're to believe that it was the Sumerians who came up with it to, for records and for legal reasons. And then we had poetry. Someone thought of the turntable, and then all of a sudden we had hip hop. Some scientists said, some engineers said, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could hear the crystalline sound of a guitar amplified? And then someone said, let's crank it up to 11 and see how that sounds. And that's what got everybody excited. When we pushed the technology to limits that no one had imagined through creative, fun, disruptive misuse. And that's why I am so excited to hear what John has to share with us today. Taking technology, which is supposed to make us more efficient, to help us, reduce our workload, and say, oh, let's have fun with this. Let's see what happens when we crank it up to 11. So I am very excited to hear what he has to share.
Hi. I'm always very self-conscious when I bring my music into any space in general, because it always feels so different than other people. And I often feel myself trying to change my song choice or choose specifically to reflect the community that I'm reaching. And the truth is like the songs that come to me, like I don't have much control over it. They speak into me and they say, write me, I need to exist. I'll be like sitting there and it's like some little thing gets in my head and it commands and beckons me to bring it into existence. And I want to give those songs like their due space and honor them in the way that they are. But always feeling like some of these spaces that I come into, there's a very positive energy. There's a very like I'm embodied in the light and I feel my heart. I'm like, that's good. There's a lot of that. And then I'm trying to, with these songs, sort of point to the world as it is to make people consider the ways that we can change things and be aware of. They're more meant to be sort of thoughtful representations of the reality, and it's okay to laugh too. Also, when I play these, I'm being silly in the way that I can. So I'm gonna do my best to try to be as confident as I can to give these songs the energy that they need to, because they really need to be sung in a very confident way. And I can be very, very self-conscious. So I'm going to do my best. And thank you for giving me this space. This song is called Prophet. It was the first song that I wrote for my new album. I wrote it like in 2017. Second. Hold on.
You might need to turn on original sound.
Oh yeah, that's right. Where is the button? There we go. There we go. Okay. Can you hear? Down, sitting on the White House lawn at night. Sundown, collusion and illusion of a liberal cry. I'm hella fucking special. I predicted this shit. I'm not afraid to admit I'm a prophet. And I'm shaking my fists and I got a big dick, cause I'm got it. Sundown, gonna start a third world war tonight. Didn't happen. Sundown, collusion pandemic when the chips are down. Well, I gave you that one. You know that I was got up till the moment that it started going so wrong. You know that I don't hold no responsibility, but I'm still the son of your guy. I predicted the shit, I'm not afraid to admit I'm a prophet. And I'm shaking my fists and I got big dicks, I'm got it. Yeah, I am just using all the facts, I'm just using all the facts, I'm just using all the facts, I'm just abusing information, hey. You gotta write down all the facts. You gotta look back on the past and stab it in the back. The bigger the amount, the bigger the account. You'll never be a prophet if your revenue is down. The words are coming out, you better write them down. You wanna know the future, better listen to me now. I'm gonna save your town, you better drink it down. You wanna make it better, better take it in the mouth. And now you're thinking you don't see the point of drinking oil from a snake. You ain't got a choice, so give me your mouth. Hey, hey, let's play a game. You better bow down now. Sundown, the drip, 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 drip of a fading mind. All rise. Oh, rise to the preacher, he's the speaker of no lies. Oh, rise to the morning, cause the sun is gonna vibe. Rise to the future, think you're getting out alive. Oh, rise up, rise up, rise. The rising sun has come undone. You prayed so long You had the one. I predicted the shit. Not afraid to admit I'm a prophet. And I'm shaking my fist and I got the dicks. I'm the goddess. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Hi. So I think it might help if I give some context for going on for the songs. That song is about like my disdain for politicians in general, or leaders, or like spiritual figureheads that are like try to play the role of the iris, try to be like, lend all of your attention to me and I will make everything better. And then they don't even pay attention to you. They don't even try to hear your ethics. They don't even try to hear what you care about. They don't even try to, there's no way to even communicate with them, but you're just expected to choose them. Desire is to move away from that energy in my mind and move to something where the best of us is naturally reflected in our communal processes, and we don't have to rely on these leaders who are just sort of self-praising all the time and trying to attract attention in this self-serving way. I hope that makes sense. This next song is about, okay, so there's like this meme and of a guy like squatting over a grave, and it's his like own grave, and he's like, ha ha ha. And so the image that came into my head was like an alien species, like squatting over a grave that says, "Here lies humanity," and just being like, whatever, man, you guys are doing what you're doing. But like the idea of them constantly trying to subtly intervene to help us better integrate, and we're not getting the message. Said I was an ugly son of a bitch. Ain't never seen no monkey laying down in that ditch. Say, how you gonna save the human race when you got such an ugly dumb face? Where's all the gray and what's that thing between your eyes? I can't believe they're still alive. How does it feel to be living on a planet hurtling closer to death? Now that you see it, I'm a little concerned, but I think that I'm out of my depth. But life, life survives. Well, I'm telling you, human, that the earth will be safe. That if you die tomorrow, I am seeing the animals will be okay. I'm telling you, human, that there's no need to fear. And if you want, y'all can just go down now. Another 10 beers, we'll take it from here. I'm remiss in how I dress. once a day when we were just as the dress. Now we look upon your race and we see our young faces. I wonder how many'll fall into place. Now I'm singing and singing out here from the future. I wonder how many are gonna need sutures. Now how do we do this? I'd like for you please now to prove this connection. Hi, am I doing okay?
That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. I need to embody the Oscar as my spirit animal and just be like, woo! Okay. This song's called Tripping on Dopamine. It's about sort of the internet and technology landscape that we live in right now is very addictive and not really serving us to the best that we could be, and that we could, redesign these systems to really be reflecting the best in us instead of the worst, and trying to serve as a platform to help us grow as individuals instead of what we sort of exist in now. No doubt about it. Got a feeling tonight, feeling magic. Got a reason for life, don't be so tragic. Feeling fearless tonight, feel the static when you wanna feel the K. In the morning y'all go crazy and then waste away your day. So I got a dream to sell you if you wanna get away. Ayo, we go, hand out, tonight, come on, let's go. The world is ours, yeah. Scrolling about the way you wanna be. There's a cursor now, the cursor is on me. Oh no, clicking upon the things you wanna see. See some violence now, the violence is in me. Tripping on dopamine, you got a hold of me. I love you endlessly, you can turn day into night. I waited with my heart click, hate it as we master, hate it to the algorithm tonight. Amount of information, amount of fear of God, amount of logic is a tonic. We stuck inside a thought, no amount of education, amount of pills to swallow, the amount of pillars made of others. We stuck inside a God. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go. Hearing about the love economy. We're tokenize the feelings inside me. Dreaming about the way that it could be. The future and then others disagree. Alright, I'm about to shout it. I've got a reason for life. I'm like Aladdin. I've got a genie and I've got the magic. The wishes bind you and I'll use my two and then I'll set you free to say. In the morning y'all go crazy and then waste away your day. So I got a dream to sell you if you wanna get away. Ayo, we go, head out, tonight, come on, let's go. The world is ours, yeah. Do we like the invitation? Do you like the will of God? We like the reason to choose freedom. We're gonna give it up. No amount of litigation, no amount of oh my God, no amount of signs clean as vines. Gotta keep us from this love. Let's drug, this drug, this drug. Let's drug, this drug. On copium, one more than I'm done. If you could be anyone, why would you be anyone else? I waited as we demarcated our entire language and we sold our wisdom for wealth. Do we lack the education? Do we lack the will of God? Do we lack the reason to choose freedom? We're gonna give it up. No amount of litigation, amount of oh my God, amount of signs, claims, vines. Gotta keep us from the love. The love, the love, the love. The love, the love. I'm gonna do two quick more ones. This first one's called Oh Iris. It's just this personal feeling of like really wanting the technology that I'm developing to be for the greater good. And then there's a very common thing which I eventually try to collaborate with people, and for some reason they often try to bring money into it or like leak into the current system and the ways that we're already doing things and the things that I'm like think are problematic, and it becomes very frustrating to see like what I view as this transformative technology just getting good and well-intentioned people reflecting the systems that I think are harming us so much in it. So, yeah. Hey, hey, don't exploit yourself anymore. Hey, don't exploit yourself anymore. Hey, don't exploit yourself anymore. B, you got so much more for living for. See how they're opening the door. You know you gotta walk through it if you wanna change the future. So please help me move into the future and change it. Save it. You see, there's millions of types of ways to get fucked up inside of your head. And I've already found them all, and I already wandered the dead. And I know I gave it all, and I could totally give it all up. There's a needling down in my brain that says the horizon will give it all up. So I'm saying, why did it go so fucking bad if I totally saw it all out? Now I'm totally filled up with doubt, and I'm seeking now for a way out when I say, oh, Iris. Wait, is that by Menon? Fuck. But can you really own 3 notes? Can you really own 3 notes? Can you really own a word? It's fucking parody and I can say it. It's fucking parody and I can say it. It's fucking parody and I can sing it. Fucking parody and I can preach it. It's about the capitalist state of mind. It's about the capitalist state of mind. You're owning everything, it's just 3 fucking notes. Stop trying to own everything, I'm saying that it's just 3 fucking notes. So I'm saying, please help me move into the future and change it. Save it. I'm turning you into a prophet. I'm turning you into a cash. I'm turning you into a mother who bears a babe on her back as a map. I finally found a horizon, could finally find a way through. And just as I'm reaching the island, the ocean is pulling me through, 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 A, don't exploit yourself anymore. B, you got so much more for living for. C, we're opening the door. You know you gotta walk through it if you wanna change the future. So please help me move into the future and change it. Save it. Yes. So, thank you. I can't hear anything and I can't see anything, so I don't know if you're enjoying it, but I'm gonna imagine that you are. The final song is called The Spirit of Society. It is a notion of a very sort of stacked reality where there are gods above gods, above gods, above gods, and at each sort of level we create these new worlds below us and we try to do it better, and we find ourselves fucking up. And so it's the idea that there's this sort of, whether it's a simulation or whether it's just something more complex than we can even fathom, that there's something out there that created this space and is feeling like, I screwed this all up. And just wanting us as a people to be able to come together and make society better. And I think that's what a lot of, or we're here for in the DSS, is to make the world work for 100% of life. And I've been, over the last few years, very inspired by everybody who's been in here. And I've been really amazed by, all of the projects that people have contributed to this. And before I joined this, I was almost ready to give up. I didn't even know that there were other people like all of you out there who really cared and were really willing to put themselves on the line and try to manifest that world. But I believe that we can come together and we can weave together a better world.
am God, swimming in the light of pure indecision. Standing on the top of the world and asking, should I end it all? I don't know if I taught them well enough to show them the light. As I look through their eyes, I am alive. As I see the thoughts as mine to control their lives, give them freedom to try. But if the spirit of society could step outside itself for one goddamn second and take a look in the mirror in some self-reflection, why am I like this? Why do I do this? Why am I helpless? Why don't I feel alive? Feel alive. Feel alive. Feel alive. Young Earth looked up at the sky and saw its creator. Said, I'm tired of this lonely landscape and this nascent nature. I am lonely, send me children to play with. So they came on down, consumed its face. I am alive. As I hear the thoughts as mine to control their lives, give them freedom to try. Why am I like this? Why do I do this? Why am I helpless? Why don't I feel alive? Feel alive. Feel alive. Feel alive. I pray to the higher gods made of light. Help me save these children from their own lives. But I hear no reply. I am alive. As I hear the thoughts as mine to control their lives, give them freedom to try. Why am I like this? Why do I do this? Why am I helpless? Why don't I feel alive? Feel alive. Feel alive. Feel alive. Thank you. And can everybody give, just some good energy to Roxi, who's this amazing woman, my fiance, my beloved, has been working her ass off. She is not slept at all, and I was like, you're supposed to come to bed and cuddle, that's what we do. And she's like, no, I have so much work, I have to bring all these people that have so much cares, and she's been very, very hopelessly devoted to all of you.
Thank you, Roxi.
You're welcome. It's such a gift to give to this container, and I think it can feel weird and isolating to do the kinds of things that we do, but when we do them together, it doesn't feel so impossible, and we don't feel so alone. I think you're a testament to that, John. And when you do share that story that you I watched you were like, I'm done with this, I'm not doing this anymore, it's not working. And I was like, no, come, we're gonna do this thing, come over here, there's all these other people who also give a fuck. And then you came, and then you stopped giving up, and here you are, you're still doing it. So this is and I mean, we were dating then already, but you know, it's one of the greatest gifts of my life to get to be in partnership with someone who like actually is in the same space, but in their own way, you know? And the other day we were just reviewing a bunch of really incredible kind of synopsis work from Noor about the ecology of love. And at the end of the day, when we look at nature and we look to living systems, it's everything is relationships and it's relational. And I think culturally there's sometimes you can feel very alone because it's all about like bigger, better, brighter, faster, do it, you know, be really good at it, really fast, like everything must work well immediately, you know, and what the signifier of good and the signifier of success, and you know, so much in the dominant media is scale and money. And I think by like what we live inside of this container is that it's actually these like deep and important relationships that are the foundational bedrock by which we continue to grow, and that like we can continue to be pillars in our communities, and we can shift. There are like, you know, like Dawn was saying earlier, like, oh, I'm an artist, I'm a playwright, but like how can my play, you know, every aspect of my play embody what it is we're doing? Like we're moving towards a higher level of integrity, and that's hard. It can be really hard, and it can take a long time. And you know, John Ash, you have this song, this series of songs, but this one song that's called The Rising Sun, and for the longest time I was like, this is my favorite song. It might still be my favorite song. And it took me a while to like actually deeply digest that it was hilarious that it was my favorite song, because I am very like, the song is about how like if the sun shone all day, like the sun was like, we don't need the moon, we're just gonna shine all day, it's gonna be great, we're just gonna have sun all the time and it's gonna be awesome. And then the moon comes back, it was like a diss track, and it's like, yo bro, like if there was no night, like everything would burn, this is really dumb, like you need me, this is important, all this sort of stuff. And we're having a whole Lunar New Year moment. Anyways, and then the Earth comes back with the Earth reprise, and it's like, hey, y'all, chill out. Like, I'm fine. Like, we're good. We're kind of working together here as a system. But I totally have some rising sun energy, and like, you know, I'm like, you know, John was saying, I'm gonna work super hard and make this thing happen with everybody, and we're gonna do it. We're not gonna give up. And sometimes you need a little rising sun energy. You definitely will burn out if you don't rest, and you don't take good care. And so it's like that. There is that sort of tendency, you know, in culture. A lot of Bloom from the cohort 1, she teaches about regenerating rhythms, and it's like, what does it mean to be in a deeper relationship with a more regenerative like rhythm, like understanding there are cycles of compost and dissolving and decay in order for there to be blooming and evolution. And like there are different time scales. Yes, there are totally plants that like grow and get really big and flower and then they die, but then there are other ones that like slowly grow year by year, and they're kind of small and they're kind of stubby, but eventually they're like really, really strong, and it's really hard to kill them. And so, you know, that like reminder that not everything happens bigger, better, faster, stronger immediately. And like some things, many things, if we look to nature, it just like reminds us that like most really solid, strong things take a long time. And dominant narratives in society tell us that it has to be fast, and that we have to, you know, by doing the futurist work that I think that we do, design, science, comprehensive, anticipatory, the sort of anticipatory part of our work is like, I have practiced, and by and large in relationship also with you, our love moment here on stage, John, of being like really in, you know, looking to the future and like really doing work for the future, not just talking about doing work for the future, but like reorienting my own personal relationship with what it means to change, like what are those long-term future goals, and how there's so much like dopamine, quick fix, fast, or like I'm not getting the like satisfaction from society to tell me that I've done good enough fast enough, and so I'm gonna fucking give up because obviously it's not valuable or worth it, you know. but that's not true. Actually, it is. What is that like really sweet quote? It takes a small committed group of people to change things. And it's also not small. Like I think, today, whatever, we peaked out at some 60 people in the room and another few hundred on the stream. And that's like, every single, like, our lives, at least for me, my life feels big and important in my own little corner of the world. And every single one of us is like our own, both small but big and important life. And so like the cultural rhythm that we choose to commit to when we like co-create in this way. And like, I think just to point out, since we're still on stage together, John, like you were like, oh, sometimes in spaces like this, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to just talk about the positive future. I'm going to talk about how like it's sort of gross right now and these systems are broken and like with the incentivization structures are whack, and like why don't we have new perspectives and reimagine our relationships with all of the things, and how might that shift our way of moving towards a better future. Anyways, and so it takes this like entire cultural tapestry, and we get to have these, when we do these salons, we get to have like a little snapshot of it. There are folks who are focused on embodiment. There are folks who are focused on like really like pulling back the veil of what's happening. And
I mean, you connected it in my mind with the dissolve part of dissolve and bloom. It's not just about the bloom and the shun. It's like there are things that need to dissolve. There is the decay cycle aspect of it. It's cycles that bring us towards a greater collective whole. That's beautiful. Keep talking if you want to.
Why, thank you. No. I noticed that Zach, you have your hand raised, and I'm wondering if that's on purpose and if you have something you want to share.
Yeah, totally. I was just waiting for you to finish talking. So, just to add to what you're saying, yeah, it does depend on your mindset. It depends on if you go through any kind of like, sense of hard work, because usually for a masculine type of settlement, hard work is like a sense of reward. But it doesn't mean you have to work hard consistently. It just means that you need to, look at how strong your patterns are and how effective they are.
And like maybe sometimes scrutinize what you think effectiveness means. And I think you're right. It doesn't mean you don't work hard. Like there are periods of burst and bloom and brightness, and those things matter. But there are also periods of like decay and release in order to like evolve. Everything is evolving. So
yeah, totally. We call these like flow states. So sometimes you'll come into one particular flow state and you'll be in a sense of flow where things just kind of move like fluidly into different scenarios, but it's when you have a challenge and a bit of a pressure, and it's how well you respond underneath that pressure.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Zach. You like came in early and you've been making art all day, and it's been really beautiful. Yeah, I mean, like you just whipped this up while he was singing about aliens. Like it's been awesome to see your creative work in the space, and yeah, thank you for holding it down with us all day. It's
totally welcome. Happily share it at some point with you guys. It's just I'm just doing what I'm doing. So it's nice to see everybody, and I do hope that you keep your chin up and you just keep going.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. I also wanted to just mention that there's some other legends in this room that I don't know, Mark, if you're nearby the camera.
I'm right here.
Yeah? Where'd you go? I can't find you.
Here.
No. Other Mark Henson.
Oh,
Y'all know, you're a legend too, Mark. Mark Smith is a legend too. But someone we haven't heard from who's been in the room all day with us is Mark Henson. So Mark maybe won't come on camera, but I will say that like his work is very kindred to everything that we do in the studio, and I had the great honor and pleasure of doing an entire
Hi, Roxi.
Hi painting
How's it
seminar
going?
with Mark and Amanda. Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, I've been kind of popping in and out all day.
Yeah, it's been great to have you here. How's it been for you?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
We got a sunny day here out in California, which is nice. So I couldn't stay indoors all the time. Had to get out and enjoy it. We've been having a lot of rain, so it's nice to get a little of the good old sun on me.
Well, I'm so glad that you were here. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Mark's work, I'll put a link in the chat. But when I did this painting seminar with Mark and Amanda, I was right next to this new Pioneers painting, and I got to sit and paint and learn from Amanda and Mark for 5 days. This is like a pretty incredibly important painting for our entire regenerative movement. I think it's like very iconic. And Mark, you're just such a delight. And yeah, I'm here in California too. It's nice that it's sunny after all this rain. But anyways, y'all should definitely check out more of Mark's work. And I'm just so happy that you're here with us as we're standing at this critical tipping point in our precipice, and we're choosing to create forward. It's such an honor to have you and to get to play together in this space.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll share a little something I'm working on.
Yeah, please do.
This is I'm getting ready to do a bigger painting that I like to make preparatory sketches. So here's the people walking away from weapons and violence, just turning their backs to it and walking away.
That's beautiful. I'm here for that story. I'm here for that reality.
So I've been sketching on this here while listening to everybody speak.
Cool. Is it okay if I take a screenshot?
Oh yes, go ahead.
Okay, hold on, let me turn my video off for a second. And move this thing. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, and 3. Amazing. Cool.
So that's what I've been up to today.
Well, I hope that can be, that this has been fuel and supportive for those visions coming forward. Your work is such a prayer.
It was really pretty cool to see the virtual art gallery space. I was around for the art tour, and I participated with a visionary art group in Toronto over the end of the year, December and January. They had a virtual exhibit there, which the space they had was really a beautiful space. One of their members created or worked with a pre-existing template and built an amazing gallery for everybody to put their art in. And we could go in there, enter as avatars, and you could kind of design your own avatar to make it look like yourself if you wanted, or other things. And wander around and talk with the other participants, and kind of like everybody could gather in the gallery and walk around and look at stuff and share. It worked out pretty well. It was a really elaborate space and done very nicely. So I would recommend, if Toronto Visionary something, if you go Toronto Visionary Art, you'll find a link to maybe go there if it's still up. They maybe have taken it down by now, but that was really a worthwhile place to visit.
Cool. And your work is still in there? It's up, like?
Yeah, I have a few pieces. They actually had probably 100 different pieces by different artists from all around the world. So they had a US section, they had a Canada section, and they had an international section.
Epic. I like that the avatars that you can talk to each other. That's one thing that this platform doesn't yet do. Right now you can chat, but it's more kind of in the spirit, or like in the style of like an independent, meandering around and experiencing, which has its own benefits. But I think the avatar thing, but yours, was that one in VR or was it more like web?
Yeah, yes, it was.
It was in VR. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They used somebody's platform that I don't know if they had to pay to rent the space, so to speak, or if it was a place where you could just go in and build your own virtual world. But they took some time and made a really nice space.
Amazing. Yes. Well, we'd love to
It
put
was
some of your work in some of our virtual worlds, Mark. It'd be so great.
they created it on a platform called Spatial.
Okay.
So
Noted.
folks might want to go check out Spatial. It's kind of a gaming platform originally, but they maybe if it's still there, if you look under Visionary Art and scroll through what they have on offer, you might find the place.
Cool. I love it. Noted. Well, I hope to find your work in there, and maybe we can put some of your work in our virtual worlds. Come.
Anytime, just let me know. I'll send you some files.
Deal. Well, I hope you come back tomorrow. It's going to be a great day. And
Yeah, I'll check in tomorrow too.
Great. And I'm in California. We should hang out.
Okay, you're down in the Bay Area, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the North Bay.
Yeah, I'm a little north of there, up by Ukiah is where my house is.
Oh, I love it up there. Deal. All right. Noted. We'll have a painting hangout.
Well, next time you're up this way, shoot me a note or something. I'm not too far off the 101.
Okay, deal.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. Thank
And
you, everybody. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you all. I just want to acknowledge, this community and everybody who's made today possible and co-created. Oh, I have a cat here. You got to come close to me if you're going to let the cat in.
She doesn't need to be in. I just want to be near you.
Where's the cat?
There's
Can't
your
see
cat.
her. She's a little black blob.
You gotta hold her.
Okay, y'all. This is Tao Tao. She has come to say, I hope you have a good
Remember
night.
from the
Have
class.
a good rest of your day. I want to just do some thank yous real quick. Because in addition to thank you, oops, Mark, you're still unmuted. In addition to the thank yous to the team and to the Design Science Studio community at large, I just wanted to say thank you also to our partners. And there are a bunch of really awesome people who helped amplify our work out into the world. One of which is in the room. Thank you so much, Bobby Fishkin and Crowd Doing. And Bobby has just been always so supportive of the Design Science Studio. Thanks to Deep Culture and Gray Area and Amplifier and the Vision Train. Choo-choo! We're on the train, y'all. Future of Cities and In Rhythm, Habitual, my creative studio, and Lembus. And there's tomorrow is going to be really incredible. So really looking forward to it, and we'll be, refining some other offerings. There's a handful of in-person events. One that's two that are happening tomorrow. One in Brooklyn, which Stacy, I was spaced out. I thought it was today, but tomorrow, if you're in New York, Stacy's hosting a bioregional event in person that is actually going to stream the salon and also have integration afterwards and delicious elixirs and stuff. And thank you, Turquoise, for being here. Another dear friend. And then I'm hosting something in the Bay Area if you want to come collage for the future. But yeah, so hope to see everybody then. And thanks again for creating something beautiful. Maybe we can go. I'm gonna close the stream real quick. Thanks everyone who's out there, and then maybe we can go into gallery mode and say bye to each other. Let me find the stream goodbye button. Goodbye, stream.